My name is Tessa, and today I'm going to talk to you about Hurricane Katrina. Hurricanes bring about unthinkable devastation and loss to the areas and civilizations that they strike. Hurricane Katrina was no exception and will be remembered in history as one of the most destructive hurricanes to make landfall in the United States. Now, a lot of people can remember a specific historical event in their life. For some people, it could be World War II, the assassination of JFK, or even 9/11. But for some people of the city of New Orleans, that event might be Hurricane Katrina. In this speech, I'm going to talk to you about Hurricane Katrina and its timeline, some of its death tolls and damage, and the rebuilding efforts that followed the storm. Now, Hurricane Katrina started off as a tropical depression, at one point grew into a Category 5 before it downgraded to a Category 3 as it struck the state of Louisiana. According to the National Hurricane Center website, hurricanes are categorized by a range of 1 through 5, and the categories depend on the wind speed. Sarah Gibbons' article, Hurricane Katrina Explained, says that Hurricane Katrina was first categorized as a hurricane on August 25, 2005, as it moved over the city of Miami. 2 days later, it grew to a Category 3 as it crossed over the Gulf of Mexico and made landfall, devastating the city of New Orleans. The intensity of Hurricane Katrina brought devastation and destruction to the city of New Orleans and was responsible for an unimaginable number of fatalities. Hurricane Katrina will be remembered as one of the deadliest hurricanes to hit the United States. The National Weather Service website says that Hurricane Katrina was responsible for nearly 1,800 deaths, but some of those deaths were due to levees failing. Now, Sarah Gibbons describes levees as walls that are used to prevent flooding over surrounding areas. Now, New Orleans was surrounded by 350 miles worth of levees. The National Weather Service website says that between the wind speed, the amount of flooding, and the number of levees that failed, Hurricane Katrina cost $108 billion worth of property damage. With that amount of loss and damage, there was some controversy as to how to go about rebuilding the city of New Orleans. There was a disagreement as to the fate of the city regarding how to rebuild following Katrina. Jacob Victor's journal, Economic Aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, mentioned that due to the location of New Orleans, there was a big argument over whether they should even bother rebuilding the city or whether New Orleans should just be abandoned altogether because hundreds of thousands of people were displaced after Hurricane Katrina. Sarah Gibbons says that following Hurricane Katrina, there was an increase in racial diversity, mostly in the Latino and Asian populations, but there was a decrease in the African American population, as a lot of them were not able to afford moving back to New Orleans. Gibbons also mentioned in her article that by 2018, the rebuilding of New Orleans and the upgrade of its hurricane defenses resulted in a $14.6 billion bill. With the kind of devastation Katrina brought on, people decided to educate themselves and others about hurricanes and its potential destruction. They wanted to educate themselves so that the areas at risk could be better prepared and possibly and hopefully avoid the same complications that New Orleans faced with its failed levees. Hurricanes bring about unthinkable devastation and loss to the areas and civilizations that they strike. Hurricane Katrina was no exception and will be remembered in history as one of the most destructive hurricanes to hit the United States. In my speech today, I talked to you about Hurricane Katrina and its timeline, the death tolls and the damage that it caused, and the rebuilding efforts that followed. Hurricane Katrina uprooted hundreds of thousands of individuals and changed the city of New Orleans forever. Katrina left unimaginable amounts of damage, not only physically, but mentally as well. Thank you.